Former Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi not only led the country for a number of years, but she also did so during the times of war. Ironically, this was said by BJP leader and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on October 14th. He was apparently referring to her role in the 1971 war with Pakistan. Rajnath was addressing the participants of Shanghai Cooperation Organization seminar in New Delhi on the role of women in armed forces. The Defence Minister also talked about Rani Laxmi Bai and former President Pratibha Patil and said India has a positive experience in harnessing women's power in national development. Mr. Singh said though it is justifiable to discuss the role of women in the armed forces, their wider contribution in all spheres of security and nation building must also be recognized and reinforced. There are a number of examples of women taking up arms to protect their country and the rights of the people through history. Rani Laxmi Bai is the most revered and respected amongst them, he said. India's former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi not only led the country for a number of years, she also did so during the times of war. And more recently, Pratibha Patil was the President of India and the Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces, the Defence Minister added. Under Indira Gandhi's Prime Ministership, India won the 1971 war against Pakistan that resulted in the birth of Bangladesh. Mr. Singh said the tradition of women as both caregivers and protectors has continued over the centuries and remains deeply embedded in the customs and traditions of the region. If Saraswati is our goddess of knowledge, wisdom and learning, Mother Durga remains associated with protection, strength, destruction and war, he said. Mr. Singh said India is amongst a very few countries that took an early initiative in terms of women's participation in the armed forces and that women are now being accepted for permanent commissioning and shall be commanding army units and battalions in the near future. Women have been serving with pride in the Indian military nursing service for over 100 years now. The Indian Army had commenced commissioning women officers in 1992. It has now moved to inducting women officers in most of the branches of the army, he said. News Desk, Kaumudy Global.